sure. And it's to satisfy your curiosity, but
yeah, so but for the core development, okay, I get it. Yeah, that's very helpful, Jason. Appreciate it. And also if there is any troubleshooting needed, maybe we would need it or something. But for the normal course of development, that level of deeper dive, is definitely not needed. I get that.
When you're developing, if you go back to the canonical XML document, we talked about map feeds, but then there's charts that you want to create.
Yeah.
Right? So when you do a chart, we talked about map feeds. The equivalent in the chart world is called a report.
Mm-hmm.
You would do a search, just like the map feed, you would do a search, and you would get a return that's like this, like the canonical document.
Okay.
And in the report, you would do some filtering and transformation of XML, so that it's going to display in a very similar, in a very friendly format to use later on.
Okay.
If that makes sense, you're kind of filtering out the data.
Sure.
So it is important that you know this canonical document and how it's formed and how it's going to show up. Right?
Oh yeah, that is very helpful. Yeah. So how do we go from
I hope that answers some of them, but let me know.
Yeah. And what I'd like to do is I don't want to go. This is fairly detailed enough, understanding. So it's definitely helpful. And we have more to go through. So I don't want to spend too much time on the specifics of that. I'm sure as we start doing the use case 5 against the data sources, once it's mapped, there may questions come in, but we can always raise those questions as they come in. But let's go back to what's the very logical. So there is a data adapter at the top. You set the triangle, and then multiple plugins, or multiple feeds that can take that from the adapter definition. And then what is at the very bottom of the triangle, Jason?
The visualization component.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes in my mind very clear. So at this point, I'd like to take the next part of the meeting to discuss some practical issues on the GDN. It may be related to GDN, it may be related to a lack of our understanding. But one contributing factor also is that we don't have any data in the sandbox environment, so that makes it really hard to see and then do some activities and see see the results and then come back and see how it works. And so we have a ticket on uploading or migrating data from the staging environment into this the cloud-based sandbox environment. Jack, do you have any status on that? Is it going to be done fairly soon, sometime today?
That's assigned to me right now, and so I guess Jack was saying that it's a blocker to development, but I think it may be a blocker more to you guys ramping up for development.
Yeah, because we don't even know what works and what doesn't, because I think we are kind of shooting in the dark a little bit, and so with data, that will be hugely helpful to know, for example, like this, the transformers, circuit breakers that we saw yesterday. We just want to see, the data getting loaded, and we may, so we know that whether this piece of code works or not type of thing. Right now, we just assume that it works, but we don't see it in real because there is no data, right? So yeah, I didn't know that it was assigned to you, so that's good. And let us know when that is. It too complex to do it, or fairly straightforward?
Data is always difficult, especially when you're talking about a big data system.
Okay.
We do have a set of files. I'd like to concentrate more on what you guys are developing.
Okay.
I'll work. Okay, so this is the MDN. Where is your staging environment? Which one are you talking about there?
I'm talking about the one inside PG&E's firewall. You have a, I don't remember the name of the box, but you have the grid director installed inside PG&E right there.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you the challenge of that is that it's a lot of data.
Okay.
So what they've written in the ticket saying if we could get a small subset of data to only
Fresno, yeah.
Then, so our system is fully functional as is. It's on its way to production. We don't have a small set of data. I think we have some data, but it takes a while to load. I think it's 6 hours on a fairly production ready box.
Okay.
I don't know how deep the NVN is for this VM virtual machine on the NVN. But, and we can definitely go through that. It's going to be more data than you need. It's not going to be a small set because, again, it's big data. They're large data sets.
Okay.
What I think would be more beneficial is for you guys to get started on development and getting data that's pertinent to you loaded.
Yeah. So I hear that, and and that would be okay. But we haven't even done the adapter mapping yet, and so we'll, I hope that ticket goes through, and we'll have that part. But let's talk about for a second. Let's say that is not a dependency for us to start because our sprint one started, and we have, I believe, still how many tickets are there? 12 or 13, right?
Yes, it is 12.
That's also, yeah. So, essentially at this point, why don't you just explain the issues that the team is having or had so Jason, just so you know, what we try to do is, basically, in our workspace, just kind of do a proof of concept using your system, coming up with some dummy plugins, both rendering and also the director and directory services, and basically try to, build it and see it on the, things like that. And we couldn't make progress. So I'm going to let Senthil explain, what it is, so if you can give us a pointer of, where we are doing, we're definitely we're not doing it right, and we just need help in understanding where we are doing it wrong,
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So could you please disconnect your join me so that I can share my screen to execute?
Sure. Yeah, sure. What is your join me code? So
yeah, one second.
Jason and Jack, if you could disconnect, and then Senthil is going to give a different code.
Okay. Just looking how to.
Our own present Rakshan.
No, you don't need to even disconnect. I'm going to disconnect, and you will disappear. And then Senthil, can you give your code?
Yeah, sure.
Present Rakshan. Lily. Oh, paid.
So it's join.me/865 -850 -748.
Okay. Thank you. Good.
So does everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the steps that we have created a report plugin, and while creating that particular plugin, we just followed the steps that what I have listed below. We have navigated to director services, webroot, and WebINF classes, plugins, and reports. So I will show it on the code what we did right now earlier today. So
That's fine. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there. To your first point, I responded that you should be able to access the debugger through
Yeah.
the user interface.
Yes, exactly. We did that, and we did that. We faced the same problem that we got earlier. So I just wanted to run through it to you on this session itself. So let me run that. So what are all the things that we did? So we just created this path.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it.
Okay.
But show me the. I guess you built, but then show me the part where you're trying to run the.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
see
So-
the reports.
This is the one.
Oh. Do you have access to the searching tool?
You mean the documentation?
No, there's an indexer search tool. So as we were mentioning, there's a lack of data, unfortunately, in your system.
Uh-huh.
If you search end device events, I'm not sure if you'll actually get a response.
So
But, getting no data as a response is okay. But, the build who's coming in, right? System, can you show what sort of the code block or something like that comes in?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what the problem is?
yeah, let me execute the code or the URL that we have got it.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I think we should start from the inverse. So
Uh-huh.
if you show me the error, then we can go back and see what's going on.
Yeah, show the error, so that
Just-
would be a good start.
Yeah, sure. One second. Yeah, just a minute, please. I'm just executing it.
That's right. Go ahead. So this is Confluence. I don't know if you have anything. It's probably a separate account. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me. Okay, that's fine. Let's see the error.
Yeah, one second.
Okay, yeah, so what I was told is that we don't actually give access to director services. You have to access that from inside the environment itself. So it's going to error for sure
Yeah.
because